And now, please welcome to the stage, Michael Cool. Michael, come on up.
Thank you. In Mexico, on the 1st of November, they celebrate the Day of the Dead. The belief is that if you remember those you love, they will be free, their spirits will be free to return and visit you. Now, my mama, she wasn't born anywhere in New Mexico. She was born in a small river town called Cloverport, Kentucky, about 30 miles east of Owensboro. On the west side of that small town is a panoramic view of the Ohio River, meandering gently into the distance, Indiana farmland on the other side. On Main Street, there's a red brick 3-story building that my granddaddy Bevan used to have a general store in. During the Depression, he about went broke giving credit to everybody, but the farmers, they made sure he had enough to feed his family. One day, a man came running into that store and he said, Mr. Bevan, that little boy of yours out back smoking cigarettes again. Well, that little boy was actually a little girl that hated wearing dresses. That was my Aunt Jeannie. She was a fiery redhead with a disposition to match. And she got a pretty good whooping that day, but that didn't stop her from smoking, and she just kept on for the next 80 years till she died. If you turn right off Main Street, there's St. Rose's Catholic Church. That's where my mom and dad got married in December of 1950. If you go a little bit further down the street, you'll run into the railroad tracks. They divide this little small town into two. On either side of the tracks is a one-lane gravel road, and there's houses facing the railroad tracks on either side. The prettiest home there is a 2-story white clapboard with a red tin roof, a big front porch, and a cast iron fence running along the front of it. That's my mama's house. My Uncle Hey, he had polio. And whenever he came home from treatment in Cozaire in Louisville, the train would stop right in front of the house, and the porters would pick Uncle Hey up and take him into the parlor. So in Labor Day of this year, I'm visiting Cloverport, and I'm standing in front of that old house. A woman comes out the back door. She says, "Can I help you?" And I told her, well, that's my granddaddy's home. I just had a lot of fond memories of it. Turns out her name was Dot. Her husband was Red. And he took loving care of that house till he died a couple of years ago. Now she spends time doing crossword puzzles, smoking cigarettes in the kitchen in the company of a white cat and Jake the cockatiel. I told her I was Clara May's boy. And she hesitated a minute and she says, "Come in here, I want to show you something." And I walked into the kitchen and she grabbed a flashlight and she swung open the door to the basement. Now the landing in the basement, the walls were painted black like somebody had used them for a chalkboard. And she turns on that flashlight and she says, "Tell me what you see." And I look closely and etched into the plaster, I see Patrick Bevan. Well, that was my Uncle Pat. He was a soldier in World War II and served under General Patton. Then I saw etched Paul P. Bevan. Well, that was my Uncle Paul. He was a telephone lineman, and for a boy who loved to climb trees, I thought he had the very best job in the whole world. And then I saw Clara May Bevan. That's my mama. Do you know she was an officer in the Army Nurse Corps, and she loved nothing better than when those beautiful young enlisted men had to walk past her and salute. The date on the wall was December 23, 1934. Mama would have been about 10 years old then, and she had a whole life ahead of her. She raised 8 kids. She worked second shift at St. Joseph's Hospital. And she loved my dad with her whole heart until the day he died in 2019. And she died just a few months later. And I'm looking at that blank wall, and I'm thinking that as long as there's a family making that place a home, and her name is etched on that wall, that her spirit will always be free to visit that old white house with the red roof in the town she loved called Cloverport. Thank you.
Michael Cool, thank you, Michael. Oh yeah, draw the name, Michael, sorry. It's all right, we're still working that out. Appreciate it. By the way, I just want to tell you, Michael, as a listener, you had me at Uncle Hey Hey. Any story with a character named Uncle Hey Hey, I'm in. So thank you for that.